Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz. Trevor here, and today we're talking about Gina Prince Bythewood's latest film, The Woman King. Stars Viola Davis, John Boyega, Thuso Mbedu, Lashana Lynch. Really strong ensemble all around. This is going to be one of Sony's biggest awards contenders this year, and I thought the movie was just fine. It focuses around the all-female warrior unit of the African kingdom of Dahomey, and Viola Davis. She's the Woman King, right? John Boyega, the king. She's training a group of elite soldiers. Thuso Mbedu, her character, is someone who is cast aside by her father. She comes into the Agoji, which is the all-female warrior group, and she's trained under the wing of Viola Davis's character. And there's, more stuff that's delved into with their relationship that I won't get into due to spoilers, but both of them are just absolutely phenomenal. Any of those four really leading performers, but particularly the three women, Viola Davis, Thuso Mbedu, and Lashana Lynch, anytime that they are on screen together, just like dialogue sequences when they're going back and forth and interacting, the movie is great. However, all of the action sequences just did not do it for me. And this is probably just a personal thing. Not a big fan of action movies. They just aren't my thing. I just don't personally gain enjoyment or excitement, amusement from watching people fight, and particularly the the historical epic style of action, which is just very brutal and gory and violent. Like, it isn't my thing personally. I don't love Braveheart. I don't love Gladiator. I think they're just fine. I can admire them more than I enjoy them. And I find myself falling along the same lines as The Woman King. Though there is a bit more to like about The Woman King, and that just really lies in the performances. Like, for a film that is so action oriented, it does provide a lot of layers and a lot of depth to all of the characters. And that really does just come down to the performances. And I think Bythewood's direction of the performances is really good. There's a lot of like very visceral emotion felt, especially Viola Davis and Thuso Mbedu's relationship. You really care for them by the end. I just wish that we were able to spend more time with them and less just very generic action sequences. And I could have even forgiven it if like the action sequences were interesting. Like, I understand if you're gonna make an action movie, there's going to be lots of action sequences used to tell the story. And that's fine. Just like create an interesting way to shoot them. But the cinematography was just so bland. It was so like just drab. Everything was just like there weren't really that many fun colors outside of like some of like the costuming, and I guess the production design, which like they did, the costumes and production design did a really good job with like the world building. But as far as the visual style, there just isn't one, and the editing is just very simple. There were no really fun editing choices. It was exactly what you would expect from this film. The sound, I mean, it was serviceable. It was good. It was just exactly what you would expect from this film, like in like a historical epic like this. So I really wasn't impressed by much of the technical elements of the filmmaking. And because of that, it just left me wanting so much more of the emotional side of the film and so much less of the big action set pieces. And as the film moves on into the third act, it becomes more and more of the action set pieces, which I just didn't care for. This film also just left me feeling very unstimulated, I guess, both visually, as I mentioned before, but just also as far as the ideas it was presenting. It came so close to really addressing like the slave trade and like colonialism and imperialism in a really fascinating and nuanced way, and then it just kind of backs down. Like, I don't get like the boycott Woman King thing. Like, this tribe, they did contribute to the slave trade, and like I think they could have tackled it a lot more. But the film does bring up a lot of conflicting viewpoints. There is a sequence within presence of the king, right? And they're all debating. John Boyega is the king, Viola Davis, and all the different members of like the royal court, I guess. And they're debating back and forth as far as like how, stopping this selling of slaves would like contribute to, you know, the kingdom economically and like the morals and ethics of it all. So like it's brought up. Would I've liked to see it broken down a bit more and discussed a bit more? Yes. Same thing with just like I mean, they're just murdering other tribes. Like, I understand that that's what happened historically, but like that wasn't really addressed with any kind of nuance as far as discussing. Like, no character was like maybe murdering other people wasn't the best thing. So like, but like, I get it. It's an action, a historical epic. Like, those are just. I mean, I have the same problems with films that like Gladiator and Braveheart. It's just something that comes with the genre that's never going to be something that I'm going to be able to get on board with. But as far as the slave trade and the imperialism, one thing that I did actually really appreciate and I thought was like a really nice touch, was all the members of the Dahomey tribe. They spoke within like the film, I guess, like we heard them speaking English, and the foreigners, the white foreigners that were coming in and doing like the imperialism, colonialism, etc., they were speaking a foreign language to English, and that was subtitled, which is something that we very rarely see. But like, yeah, to the characters within the film, they are the foreigners. So like, it was just a fun, nice touch. Hadn't really seen that before. Like, as I said, it was almost there. It was almost there with tackling it and like going more into depth. But it seemed like anytime we like almost kind of got there, it would just get distracted with something else, whether that be like, you know, a training sequence or like a conflict with like another tribe. And we never really entirely resolved a lot of what I think could have been like a really, really compelling, like, back and forth, like discussing how you know, all the members within the tribe within the kingdom, and how it was all impacting them individually and how they thought it would impact everybody else within the kingdom, both personally, economically. Like, we could have gone there. We could have gone there. It was close. And then it just introduces this really strange romance subplot with Thuso Mbedu's character, which I still am struggling to find the point of. I just, it didn't really do anything for me. I can't find where it was actively contributing to anything within the plot, but I guess, like, I don't know. I didn't hate this movie. It just really wasn't for me with the direction that it went, just really going full on action epic. So, I mean, and that's going to work for some people. Just wasn't for me, though. Viola Davis, Thuso Mbedu, just undeniably incredible. So I am going to give this film a 6 out of 10, and let's get into awards talk. Everybody seems to be liking this movie a lot, and definitely a lot more than me. Letterboxd is like a 3.8, Rotten Tomatoes is like a 96, 97%, Metacritic is like a 78, so like not the strongest, but still pretty good. I know how I would feel about a Best Picture nomination, but it should definitely be in the conversation, especially if it places at TIFF. Similarly, the acting, I think it's just on the outside. It is a bit strange because from what we've been hearing, Viola Davis is going to be campaigned in lead and Thuso Mbedu will be campaigned in supporting. And I feel like it should be swapped. I understand that Viola Davis is the bigger name, but Thuso Mbedu is just so clearly the lead and Viola Davis is so clearly the supporting performance. It's like, it's a bit weird, but like, I understand it. You're going to category fraud, so that way the bigger names in lead and the smaller names in supporting. So like, whatever. And it also means that there's probably a bigger chance of Mbedu getting in, probably, which I like. Even though I was a bit lukewarm on the movie, I would love if Thuso Mbedu got in. She's really, really, really good in this film. Just like it's just such a fun performance that like it doesn't feel like there's that much to it. Just thinking about it while you're watching it. But looking back on it, like there's just like she does such a great job just like pulling the audience in and like just immediately getting us to identify with her as the protagonist of the film, which is like a really, really hard thing to do. But yeah, it's such just like a magnetic and just open performance. It's a really, really great performance from her. I don't have either of the performances in personally, but I think they could happen. And they're both really good. They're both really good. Neither of them will probably end up in my top 5 for either category personally by the end of the year. but I definitely wouldn't be mad if they happened. Other things that could happen, been hearing lots of praise about the score. I thought it was just fine. It was exactly what I expected from this film. It used strings and drums and everything, just exactly what I thought. Like, if I could have predicted what the score would sound like, it was just that. So it wasn't bad. Just wasn't anything that special, I think. The two places that I do have it getting nominations are production design and costume. I feel like this would just make sense as a historical epic for those two things to happen. However, as we saw with The Last Duel, those things aren't really locks if your movie isn't making money. And we'll see. We'll see if this happens. My theater was decently full. Obviously that's just one theater though, so we'll have to see if this makes money. If this makes money, I feel like it could slide into the text like costumes and production design, and we'll see if it shows up anywhere else. But if this is a flop, if it doesn't do well at the box office, I just think that the release date is way too early, and it doesn't feel like something that critics are going to be able to like revitalize once we get to like December and January. So this is going to be really banking on box success for awards, but assuming that happens, production design and costumes feel safe. And then there's also an original song, an original credit song, which was good. It was fine enough. The song category is just so weird and open, and anything can happen in it, that I wouldn't be shocked if the song from this film got in. But as of now, costumes and production design feel the most likely. Other possibilities, I mean, picture, actress, supporting actress, score and song, I would say, if it's really just going to pop off and get absolutely everything. But that is my thoughts on The Woman King. Thank you everybody so much for watching. But those are my thoughts on The Woman King. Thank you everybody so much for watching. You can do the subscribing thing if you would like, you know, it's whatever. If you want more film content, awards content, you know, film festival content, subscribe. We're gonna be doing that here. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe, everybody, and goodbye.